Hello everyone and welcome to another Saint Spotlight. Today on October 1st, we honor one of the most widely regarded saints and doctors of the church, Saint Therese of Lisieux. One of the most special things about Therese was that on paper, her life was pretty uneventful. She joined a Carmelite monastery when she was pretty young, and she participated in a lot of domestic housework, prayed a lot, but nothing really extraordinary or showy or out there or anything. Actually, a nice analogy of her life is this. So in a class that I was taking on marriage, Tim O'Malley called marriage consecration of the mundane, making those daily choices in life for God and elevating something as simple as washing dishes in a special way. And that's exactly what Therese did. Therese made everything in her life oriented towards God. Therese, even though she wasn't married, really just shows that anyone, in whatever circumstances you're in, no matter how ordinary, can really be a great saint. Now, something that has been very popularized by Therese that I really want to talk about, and especially by her fans, is her devotion to roses. So Therese, in her little way, in living a life of ordinariness but doing it for God, also called herself the Little Flower for the same reasons as before. She considered herself relatively unnoticed by the world, and she just saw herself not as like a beautiful rose or a beautiful lily or something that's very noticed, but as a smaller wildflower. She had a gracious and amazing amount of humility. She knew where she stood in the eyes of God, rightly seen by God as loved, but not as this powerful person. But on her deathbed, she did say this quote. She said, "My mission to make God loved will begin after my death. I will spend heaven doing good on earth, and I will let fall a shower of roses." Now, many people probably think, oh, this is a very nice metaphor, it's very pretty, but there have actually been some very incredible moments tied to her prayer that had to do with roses. So when people pray for her intercession, many times during what's called a 9-day novena, people will actually smell roses, or they'll find physical roses at the end of their novena. There's been stories of in the middle of winter, they're walking in the middle of snow, and all of a sudden they see a red rose. Sometimes in decision making, people will pray for a specific color of rose for one option. So they'll pray for red for X and then white for Y. It's all a part of Therese's very special little way, as the Little Flower, is helping people by praying for them, especially through this intercession. But people do a lot of disservice to Therese at times in their novena. She quickly becomes surrounded by all of this superstition as people search for signs in their prayer. And signs are wonderful parts of our faith. Signs are beautiful gifts that God gives us, and God does grant them to people. But if you're spending your prayer looking for the sign, you're completely missing the person who's giving you the sign to begin with. God can do all things, but I'm not sure he's really looking to respond to insincere prayers from those only really just looking for a sign. So that is my challenge for you today, is to reassess your prayer. I love this novena to Saint Therese. It actually really helps me in prayer. This is what helped me decide to choose to apply to this program that brought me to Holy Spirit, and I'm so grateful for it. But to be honest, in that prayer, I did chase the roses a lot of the time, searching for this red rose or this white rose or whatever, instead of actually glorifying God in my prayer. So I ask you to pray to God from your whole heart. If you ask for a sign, remember the person who gave it to you, God, thank him for it. No matter what this result of your novena, these can really prep you to align yourself to God's will, and in the process, find your own little way and really model the life of Saint Therese. So thanks for listening.